Do you start growing your tomatoes indoors as transplants in March or April? Well, I don't. I direct seed them in mid to late May, and that's what I'm doing right now in this video. Have a watch and see how I do it. Alright, so it's late May. Hey, how you doing? So it's late May, and I'm sowing, direct seeding, sowing tomato seeds in the ground. A lot of people, where I live, I'm in Zone 6A, Nova Scotia, Canada. Most people start their transplants indoors or buy them at a garden center already grown, and they tend to plant them out around this time of year, maybe in a week or two. Some people don't plant them out until the first new moon in June, which is maybe 3 weeks away. I don't do that. I used to do all that sort of stuff, and one year I just I had a bunch of these different domes and different kinds of microclimates in the garden, and I decided, geez, every year you have volunteer tomatoes come up. A tomato falls to the ground and it just rots in the ground, and some of those seeds germinate, and every year those tomatoes seem to come up. And I thought, man, what if I put a dome over those tomatoes? How quickly would they grow and that sort of thing. So I started doing this a number of years ago, and I'm so pleased with the results that I don't do transplants indoors at all of any kind. I direct seed everything outside under some sort of plastic or dome or window or something, and I find it works. I mean, it probably won't work for every growing zone, but if you've got enough sun and you can basically keep that environment within the microclimate from getting too cold, you can make a lot of things happen ahead of schedule. And the real advantage is that all those things are getting full sun. I don't think people properly appreciate the value of full sun in a garden. That's where the plants are getting their energy. That's basically part of their food in a sense. And if they're getting full sun, they're going to grow to the best of their potential. Also, by direct seeding them in the ground, they're going to grow in. The roots they're not constrained by some little cup or some little thing like that. They can just go in whatever direction they want, and they can just progress naturally in a sort of optimal way. So I'm planting these about 6 inches apart in a trench that's about 1 inch deep. It's an inch deep, but I'm going to pack it down. So basically, there's only going to be half an inch of soil over the seeds once I pack it down. But yeah, 6 inches apart, and then I'll thin these to probably like 18 inches apart. Why do I plant so many? Well, because things go wrong when you're direct seeding things. So especially when you're outdoors with pests, there's different things that can happen. So you always plant a few more. And of course I can move these, right? So this garden will be full of tomatoes, but I'll get enough tomatoes out of this that I can pluck some of them out and stick them in other places and basically have at least 2 beds. And I've got another variety of tomatoes I'm growing elsewhere. I've got 2 different varieties in this garden. On one side I've got a kind of Roma tomato, like a tomato sauce tomato. I think it's called Heinz 57, I think. And the other side is a beefsteak type tomato. It's called a Bobcat. I'm not sure about the Heinz 57, but the Bobcat tomato is an F1 hybrid. Anyway, so now I've already sown the other side of the garden, but I'm just pushing the soil back down into that little trench and patting everything down good. I don't think people really appreciate how important it is to pack the soil down. You pack it down really good. You think you're compressing it, but you're really not, especially if you've got like soil that's the right composition. What you're doing is ensuring really good contact between the seed and the soil, so that when you water the soil, you really don't water the seeds, you water the soil, right? Those seeds that are in the soil, they're not going to move around, they're not going to get washed one way or the other, and they're going to have excellent contact with the soil, which is going to keep them at the right moisture level for them to germinate. So now I'm just grabbing a watering can for a bed this size. 1 gallon of water I find is all you need. You'll notice I sort of go back and forth, and I think people tend to. You can only water a bed, the soil. You can only add as much water as that soil will take, and then you got to back off or it'll start to pool and run, and that's not good. So here I am just wetting down the paper too, just so it can go flat. But yeah, you see, I just waited a little bit. Now I'm adding a little bit more water. I was just, the water was, the soil was kind of shiny, and I was waiting for the soil to go dull again, so I could tell the water sort of gone. And now I'm waiting and giving it another shot, just using up all that water. So that whole gallon's going in there, and I won't water these for a week, even though it's supposed to be really sunny a few days this week. Now, here's where the magic happens, right? I've got many different kinds of improvised domes in my garden, and different kinds of, little microclimates. Even just pieces of plastic I stick on the ground and hold down with rocks. I do it in all kinds of different ways. This is one I made it a 1x3. It's kind of flimsy, and if I were to make it again, I'd change the design a little bit. I got a video on how to make this one. And it happens to just perfectly fit this bed, it's got nothing to do with my carpentry or planning. It's just sheer luck that it happens to perfectly fit in this bed, which is ideal for tomatoes, because that way you've got a really good seal all the way around. I'm just making a couple little adjustments there, so that if it does get down to 0 at night, which is possible, still very possible, the tomatoes should be okay. Hopefully. Anyway, I hope you found this video interesting. If you did, please like, share, subscribe. Until next time, get out there, get at it, have fun in your garden. Thanks for watching.